you can repent from it.
Some don't.
Not if you ate a rat.
It's grace, I think it's a grace period, and then it's gonna come to an end. And he's gonna go back to the old ways.
Well, there again, the problem that I talked about up in Canada last Sabbath. Apparently, there were some things that I didn't know. And apparently, when a person goes back and continues going back and doing the things over again, makes a big change. And this is something that Brother Andre understood and understands, and was able to make claims. And but it has to do with forgiveness.
Right. The scripture says that if you forgive your fellow man, Yahweh will forgive you your trespasses. That's the bottom line. If you don't forgive your fellow man, he won't forgive you your trespasses.
Right.
That's the bottom line. I also want to mention verse 9 here, where it says, but if you have respect for persons, you commit sin. Now, I'd like to know where this is in the law. Respect for persons is sin. Well, I've never read it.
Respect of persons is another way of saying is if you have partiality or you have favoritism.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not in the law anywhere.
Well, yeah, it is.
Where?
Well, in several places. In Leviticus, I was reading this morning some.
He didn't murder.
No, that was killed. That was not murder. That was killed.
I'll get it sooner or later. See if I can find where I was reading this morning. Well, talking about bond, but really there.
When the feasts were explained in Leviticus, I think 23, and in Numbers, it talked about that these feasts, if you have people or foreigners among you who want to become a part of Israel, then they have to. There's
One law.
one law, one Torah, and it covers both them and the ones that are born in the land. It's the same. That's
Exactly what I'm reading here. In Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44, he's talking about, well, let's go up a little bit before that. Let's start in verse 30.
it's
About
actually
35, verse 35.
it specifically says it in verse 22 of chapter 24.
Chapter 24.
Chapter
You
24.
shall have
verse
one
22.
manner of law, as well as for the stranger, as for your own country, as for one of your own country. For I am Yah, your Elohim. All right, right before that, he says, breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, as he has caused a blemish in a man, so shall be done to him. Now, over here in chapter 25, if thy brother become poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yet he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. If thy brother become poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yet though he be a stranger. Now, if it says he falls into decay to you, that means he owes you. Take you no usury of him, nor increase, but fear thou alone him, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy food for profit. Now he's all talking about a brother there. Verse 40. But as a hired servant, as a sojourner, he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee until the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return into his own family, and unto possessions of his fathers he shall return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy Elohim. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, the children of the stranger that do sojourn among you, of them shall you buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. In other words, somebody that was an Israelite could serve you up until the time of Jubilee. But if you bought somebody from another family, another people living close to you, then they were to be your servant forever. And it goes on to say that even when you die, they go to your children.
They are possessions.
Yeah. So what he's talking about there, I think, Steve,
So they're
when he
possessions.
says, as also saith the law, he's talking about the difference of brethren and non-brethren.
Well, he didn't say it's a law. But if you have respect to persons, you
Yeah.
commit sin and are convinced of the law as transgressors.
Go back and read verse 1 of chapter 1. You see who he's talking to?
Yeah,
He's talking to Israelites.
Right, Israel.
right. I'm just not getting.
But they do make a difference if they're not blood Israelites.
Yeah, I
So when
understand
he's
that.
saying there in verse, what was that verse? 9? But if you have respect of a person, he's talking about your brother.
Yeah,
You commit sin and are convinced of the law, transgress.
Basically, if you treat one better than the other because of the circumstances of his
Right.
life. You're a poor man, you stink, your clothes haven't been washed in 4 weeks, I know. You just sit over here.
I know, but what I'm saying is, it says you're convinced of by the law, and I don't see in the law anywhere where it
I
says
just read you
you're
the
a
law.
transgressor.
I just read you the law about the brethren and the bondmen,
Right.
people who are not brothers.
Right.
What are you talking about?
I just, I don't get it. That's okay.
You cannot be respecter of a person if they're a brother.
And
They are, that you're given law and you're told how to treat them. You're not given law and told how to treat those that are not brethren. That's the law it's talking about.
Well, I don't know. He's talking there in one place there. He says where somebody has good raiment, a gold ring, tell him to sit with this place, and it's poor raiment.
So don't treat them any different.
Right. That's what I see that he's talking about there is, and I don't know.
All right, let's go back to verse 2, chapter. But there come under your assembly a man with a gold ring in goodly apparel. Now, what is goodly apparel? That's really nice stuff, you know. I bought all this stuff and, yeah, I'm gonna put it all on, I'm gonna come in, everybody. But now, a man comes, a poor man in vile raiment. What's vile?
Dirty,
Filthy,
Dirty, filthy.
stinky.
old,
Now, if we have somebody comes in here, and they're in a dirty, filthy clothes, do we treat them the same as we do a brother that comes in? I don't think we do sometimes, no.
No, I agree with you. We don't.
Should.
I tried.
I think verse 13
I'll
might
forgive
answer
them
your
clothes.
question. For he shall have judgment or condemnation without mercy, who has showed no mercy. And mercy rejoices against condemnation, damnation, accusation, or judgment. That's verse 13 of chapter 2. That is the answer to your question. You got somebody coming in and he's stinky and he had to wash and all that, and you treat him like a dog. Somebody comes in looking nice and fine, man, you just yuck right on up to him, shake his hand, all that kind of stuff, give him a big old hug. You're showing favoritism, but you're also showing no mercy to the one who can't do for himself.
yeah, I agree. I know, there's times when, had people come in that smell bad. I kind of, keep my distance. But it's not that I really want to. I don't really look down on them or anything like that. It's just I don't want to smell the smell.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I would just ask in return of whatever they wanted from me, if they wanted to ride to work or whatever, I just would say that in return, I would just ask that you take a shower before you go.
I got a question about verse 21.
Somebody's feelings are
All right.
getting hurt. Doesn't
It
have to be
says,
mine.
was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered up Isaac his son upon the altar?
Yeah.
Didn't the law say you could not offer your children up?
No, it says, Father Yahweh really got down on his people for offering up their sons and daughters to Moloch, which was a pagan god. And he never asked us to do this. He asked in this particular case of Abraham, he was testing him. So wasn't Abraham our forefather justified by what he did, by his works, when he was obedient to Father Yahweh and offered up Isaac? He did what Yahweh told him. I'm going to do it. I know somehow this is going to work out, and that's where his faith was displayed.
And what about, what was his name? Can't remember his name, that he went out and won a victory and
Started
comes
with
in,
J.
his daughter comes out.
Jephthah.
And he had promised to offer as a burnt sacrifice,
First one.
the first thing that come
Yeah.
out of his house.
That is a real confusing place.
It is confusing, really it is.
Real confusing.
He supposedly done it because of his vow,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but did he really do it?
Yes.
I've heard two sides of that story.
well,
There's no proof one way or another what he did. I don't know. I, as a father, couldn't do something so severe. I would give her to the temple and say, you serve the temple the rest of your days.
That's what I heard that he did.
The covenant is.
Well, the scripture says that they go up, the daughters of Israel went out, I think yearly and bewildered.
Yeah.